Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today, where we are back with Attack on Titan reactions and reviews. I hope that you guys will enjoy. I'm just gonna do my little rundown thing of what you can expect. First, we're gonna do my reaction highlights, which are the biggest moments, the coolest moments that I've decided to show you guys, and then afterwards, we'll do a little review where we discuss, analyze, and theorize, and those are usually a lot of fun, so make sure that you stick around for those as well. Especially, we had some banger galaxy brain theorizing sessions last time. So I hope that you guys will enjoy that. But if you want to see my full watch-along reaction, those are up on Patreon, and those will also be like a couple days early compared to these videos, just because like they're easier to edit. This, I cannot even imagine how long this video is going to be. So my reactions, like just the raw reaction where you sync up with me and you can see my full thought process throughout the entire episode, those are usually up on Patreon, and these will be up on Patreon going forward a couple days early. So that is all from me. I hope that you guys will enjoy, and so let's just get into it. But Levi, I don't think Levi's dead. That is a pretty dead expression he has on his face, but I just don't, actually, I don't know. No! No, they can't, he can't be dead. I don't believe it. Yeah, I think she's faking. She's trying to stop them from actually, like, putting the bullet through his head like they had said. They have bigger problems. Like, Zeke is getting, reborn. Oh God, what has this man seen? Fuck, he looks like he saw God. Like that he died and went to heaven. Oh good, go Hanj, go! Exactly, see, Levi's not dead. I don't believe he's dead. I think that Hanj was just protecting him. He has this, like, vacant look on his face. Oh my God. Oh, it's a girl. Okay. So God rebuilt him. Oh, that's so pretty though. Bro, give something to cover this man. Like, you know what I mean? They're all just talking to him and he's butt naked. Ooh, that's interesting. These are some like fire visuals. Oh, Annie? That kind, is Annie gonna come back? That, like, she was out of the thingy. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Okay, so that's the girl and like the like the pass again almost. Oh, them as children. Ooh, that's interesting. That tree. Ooh. Oh. That's some very interesting imagery. We're gonna have to go back to that, obviously. Eren is gonna fuck them up. This is the first time we're seeing like the warrior titan now in action with Eren. What is wrong with her? Oh. Ah! Okay, well, that was a choice. Okay. I love that though. That was fucking savage, man. Oh, okay, bye, Gabby. Why do I find that so funny? Okay. Yeah, she's helping Gabby get away. That's interesting, though. Why would they lead them away when all of the people are, like, locked up downstairs? Do you think that they want to kill all those people? I don't know. Maybe they know that they may turn against Eren later, like Mikasa and everything, or maybe they don't know that they're down there. I don't think he's gonna stop, sis. But thank you for your advice. Yeah, damn. Eren really said, nah. I like that though. Confidence. Look at this. Look at this confidence, guys. I'm so unhinged. I am so sorry. I cannot contain myself anymore. See, this isn't even about winning anymore. It kind of is, but this is about like personal beef with Reiner, in my opinion. This is very cool, though. This is pretty cool. Oh, shit! What was that? That looked like somebody new transforming. Oh, maybe not. But what if Annie came out of hiding literally just for this? That would be crazy. But I thought I saw more lightning, like somebody else had entered the battle. You know what I mean? Oh, this is kind of nice, though. He was worried. Damn. Oh, this is so interesting. Uh-oh. Come on, Annie. Come on, sis. I know you wanna break out of the ice, sis. This is a cool fight, though. Nice! Good job, Eren. Oh, ooh, that was nice, though. That was a nice dodge. Good job, Reiner. I don't really have anyone in particular I'm rooting for. I just think it looks cool. Oh! Ooh, nice! Good job! Holy shit! No, something has to happen. Ooh, shit! Oh, fuck! What the fuck was that? Oh, no! They forgot about Peck, bro! That is not good. Something has to happen to save him, though, please. Oh, no! You guys forgot! They have guns too, bro! Like... Oh, fuck. How are we rectifying this? Holy shit. Like, it just seems like there are massive losses right now. Come on, sis! Okay. But what does she see that we don't see? Oh, fuck, bro. Is he just faking it? Maybe he's not even in there anymore. Is that possible? Fuck, bro. Oh my god. They're getting fucking bodied. How is this going? Oh my god. Like, everybody is literally just dying. Oh, we can't even open up the thingy. Oh. 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 I don't know if he's being genuine or not, but I don't know. I'm inclined to believe him. I really like him, so... Yeah! Oh, good. Armin with the deduction. Yes. Oh. Good job, Armin. Oh. Oh. Oh, no, I don't believe that. Yeah. You tell her, Armin. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I think I've always thought that Eren was just going along with their plan and just kind of like pretending, you know? Yeah, this is kind of what I've always thought. Yeah. I think that Armin is right. Or Armin knows he's wrong, but he's trying to buy time to change Eren's mind. Like, it could be either of those things, to be honest. Oh my god. Oh, okay. This is a little suspicious. Oh, and he disappears. I don't think that's a good sign of anything. Okay. Oh, Falco was there. Okay. All right. right, everybody, let us get into the discussion now. And the first thing I think that we need to talk about is Levi. I don't think that Levi's dead. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like that this is very clear setup to me. Like, they're like, I'll put a hole in his head just to make sure, and they aren't able to do it because they get interrupted. And so I feel like that Hanj was just trying to, like, buy time in order to get them to get away. I just don't know how Levi is going to survive this, though, because, like, it's not looking very good. You know what I mean? Like, we have seen people survive worse, but they have only survived worse because they have become Titan shifters, like Armin, and sort of like that sort of vibe, that sort of thing, right? And so I don't know how exactly Levi is going to live. Maybe it is sheer stubbornness. Maybe it is just, like, you know, sheer will, but it doesn't look that good for him right now. However, I don't think that he's dead. To go along with that, as Hanj is giving this explanation, you can actually see that she has kind of like that anime glasses lying sort of thingy, right? Like the shading on the glasses and stuff. So I feel like that she's basically lying to them in order to buy time. But we get a very interesting reaction here because he looks almost sad about it, and I guess it makes sense, right? Because he was in like their squad. He just decided like, well, you know, I like Eren. Eren's better, right? Like that's basically what happened. But they've all grown up together. They've all worked together. They've all fought together, right? So I feel like that it could almost be a genuine sadness coming from him, just because again, like they weren't always enemies, right? Like he just switched to Eren's side because it was the most convenient thing to do when he believed in Eren's cause. But I think that like they still had a great level of respect for Levi. But this does not seem very sympathetic at all. He's just like, I'll take his pulse just to make sure he's dead, right? So they're really trying to make sure that Levi's actually dead. But luckily, Hanj buys enough time, right? And they jump into the water. The thing with the Titan is also very interesting. I'm not going to go like too much into it because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But I think what's happening is that the Titan is actually sucking in steam in order to like kind of like heal, I guess, right? And like that healing is kind of a manifestation of what I'm assuming is like the original Ymir, right? And so it's almost like if Titans die and give off steam, maybe Birth is inhaling steam or like healing, right? Like maybe as much as steam happens when the Titan is like dying, you know, we see that when normal Titan shifters get injuries, they have steam coming off of their body because they want to heal that part, right? Like it's gonna take a minute, but I feel like the Titan body kind of wants to heal the part that has been injured. So what if the steam is kind of like twofold, that it represents death, but it also represents some sort of healing or life, right? Because I'm not saying that it's the steam that is causing the healing per se, but maybe the steam is like a part of it. Does that make any sense? Also, like the sunlight descending from the heavens, it gave a very interesting vibe. I think that they are going for like a biblical born again type thing with Zeke here, but yeah, you can even see he is actually covered in steam. So I would say that the steam definitely has something biologically to do with it, even if the magical reason is because of Ymir. And we also see that in the OP, there's a similar sort of thing where it's Zeke, but then there's the steam behind him, as if it's supposed to represent that he like came out and was born out of the steam again. So that's the impression that I'm getting. And something else to kind of consider here is that Zeke looks pretty shook. Like, he looks like that he has literally seen God, or like he has seen death and returned. That is the type of facial expression that he's giving me, and it's probably because, like, he has, right? You know what I mean? But what's interesting is that he kind of has, like, I don't know if this is still supposed to be, like, just a different angle of his hair, but when it zooms into him, he seems different in some way. Like, he almost seems younger, you know, because that's supposed to be a close-up on his face, right? But, like, if you look at his hair here, and then you look at it more close-up, doesn't it look just slightly, like, ever so slightly sort of different hair pieces? I don't know if that's, like, a thing, but for some reason, he just looks younger here, and we also see, like, young Zeke in the OP, so I wonder if, like, when he died, I don't want to say regressed, but, like, he's having, like, flashback moments maybe to his childhood or something. I don't know. But we do see a lot of that. Even in the OP, we see Zeke as a child, right? And we also see Eren as a child a lot. And so I wonder if that has, like, any sort of connection in any capacity, just because we keep seeing, like, their childhood selves and what that could be symbolic of or what that could symbolize, right? And so I feel like that may be interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm just reading way too much into that. It just looked so different to me. With Levi, again, he's not looking so good right here, but I think that, like, he is observing almost what's happening. Like, he does seem to be awake if he is indeed alive. And I love Hanj jumping into the river, and that is why I feel like that they're okay. Like, I feel like, and it's also weird to have Levi kind of die in between seasons. Like, I feel like that, yes, would that be a good, like, I mean, I guess it's not in between seasons, but in between the parts, right? Like, would that be, like, a good cliffhanger, I guess, or, like, something to leave off of for part one? Like, I guess so, but I also feel like it kind of takes the hype away, because it's almost like an unceremonious mourning period in between the two parts of the last season. I don't know. And so I don't know if it's a good idea for Levi to die here either, just for that reason, but I don't think he's dead. Partly because of that, because, like, I don't know, you need time to mourn a character, and it may not make a big difference if somebody is doing, like, a binge watch after Attack on Titan is over, but I think that I could definitely sort of feel like, you know, I went into this episode and I was like, oh yeah, Levi's dying. Like, you know what I mean? I still care, obviously I care, but, like, it's different. It's a different feeling than if it was directly back to back, right? Or if there was more attention, I guess, given to that. Like, he kind of died and then we all left for like a year. That's kind of how it feels, right? In other news, we have this girl and she is basically building up she's building up Zeke again out of soil. He says soil, it looks more like sand to me. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I think it's interesting because she has like this bucket of water right here, and I don't know, I don't know, does that turn sand into clay? Anyway, it just makes the sand more like formidable, I guess. And so he was watching it happen, and it doesn't seem like he could maybe communicate with her. Maybe he's just hiding that part, but he looks pretty like dead in the eyes right there. It felt like years passed by, but at the same time, it felt like an instant, right? So I don't know if he actually had a conversation or if he just watched, because he kind of looks very like ragdoll-esque right there. You know, he doesn't look like he has a lot going on, like, you know, like, it just in his eyes, in his head, like, it doesn't seem like he's actually communicating with her. He kind of seems like he's asleep with his eyes open, right? So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. But the interesting thing would be why Ymir has a vested interest in restoring Zeke, I guess. Because this is kind of, I don't want to say it's like bullshit, like Deus Ex Machina. What do you call it? But it's very convenient, right? Like, other characters have died in the show, and I know that they're not characters with royal blood. I'm not saying that Zeke's not important. What I am saying is that out of everyone that has died, this could have happened to anybody, right? In theory, right? A Titan could have put somebody in the womb a while ago if it was by order of Ymir. So why Zeke specifically? Like, does she want Zeke to carry through with this plan? Is this a big destiny thing where if Zeke dies, Eren's plan will never be fulfilled? Because there are theories that Eren has a totally different plan, that he's not on board with what Zeke wants, right? So obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, why does Zeke get to come back? That's bullshit. Like, I'm not saying that at all. I just think it's interesting to think about, well, why Zeke? Like, why, when so many other people have died, that Ymir kind of feels like a personal interest in making sure that he still lives? Is it because she believes in his plan, or because she believes in Eren's like secret plan of destiny and that requires Zeke to live, whereas it would be set back further if Zeke were to die? Let's just talk about Eren's plan because I'm bringing it up. I'm inclined to believe Armin, but I also feel like that there could be some other stuff going on, and we'll talk about Armin when we get there. But I think that it's possible that Eren has like Plan C, and I'm not sure what Plan C is exactly, but I don't think that he's entirely on board with like the euthanization plan, if that makes sense. I feel like that he has some other secret thing to do, and something I theorized before was it could be very interesting if his plan is to get all of the Titan powers, like collect all of the Dragon Balls, collect all of the Titan powers, and then like put himself in sort of like the ice that Annie did, so there will never be any Titan holder ever, because the only way to get somebody out of that weird ice thing is through Porco, right? Like, he's the only one that can break through. That's kind of the, I don't want to say the safety mechanism, but that's kind of the thing, right? Like, that's kind of the safety thing for that Titan, right? And so I feel like that if that's the case, would it not make sense for Eren to collect all of the Titan powers and then, you know, freeze himself, and then that's it? You know, everybody's fine. There are no more Titan holders, right? And so there are no more Titan. Could you still have the Titans without the Titan holders? I guess that you could. You could have the pure blood ones. But my point is that the world would basically think that Paradise has all of the Titans and stay away, right? But what they don't know is that Eren has, like, locked them away forever. I think that that would be a very interesting ending for the show to kind of take. It's like we've collected all these powers and put them away, but that also means that literally everyone would die, which is a little bit, you know what I mean? That would mean, like, Zeke has to die, right? Porco has to die, Peck has to die, like everybody, Reiner has to die, Annie has to die. Like, for this to even be possible, everybody would have to die because Eren would have to eat them, like, to get the powers, right? So I don't know if that's like a foolproof idea, really. I also had this idea that Falco would inherit, like, Reiner's powers, and then somehow he would be, like, the successor in all of this. Like, he would be Eren's successor as well somehow, and I don't know how that works yet. Maybe I did, like, a year ago when I made that theory. Maybe I should go watch some of my old videos, guys. If you guys remember, let me know. But yeah, that was sort of the theory that I remember having, is that he's just playing along with the whole euthanization thing. Instead, he's gonna lock all of the Titan powers away forever inside of him. But then there's the question of, like, but what if technology advances enough? Because technology is already breaking shit. You know what I mean? Technology is already causing a lot of problems. They already have anti-Titan technology. So what if there is one day someone who can break through the ice? But I guess it's also like break through the magical ice at your own how do you say it? Like, at your own at your own caution, like at your own death, because then Eren would just be like, okay, I'm awake, I have all 9 Titan powers. Like, you know what I mean? That would probably not end well for the person that unlocks him. So that's kind of interesting. We also see, like, all of the Aurora Borealis, which seem to be like a representation of the paths, right? So we kind of had this idea before that, like, all of the Titan powers are connected to Ymir, and it's kind of like, you know, like, I guess paths directly, like, all of the Titan holders have, like, shared this, like, one, like, line of connection that, like, stems at Ymir and stuff. Like, it's one of those things, right? And so he's like, oh, are those the paths? So I'm assuming that that's what the paths are. It's like all of the previous Titan holders' connections to Ymir that ever existed, right? All we can do is move forward, right, Eren? See, I don't know what to make of this line because, like, what does that mean? All we can do is move forward. That kind of seems to me that he has, like, some sort of knowledge now where he's like, oh, this is a little sus, but all he can do is keep going, I guess, right? Maybe it's because he lost all of the other pureblood Titans that were a part of his plan. Maybe that's why he's saying it. But I kind of get the vibe that, like, Ymir told him something, and now he's like, well, I guess all we can do is keep going, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe Ymir was like, don't euthanize people, bro. I gave you life. Don't do that, you know? Like, maybe Ymir told him something that, like, put, like, a wrench in his already established plan. Like, we don't know. Who knows? Now, it's time for some, like, OP analysis over here, because I think that there is some interesting stuff to talk about in the OP. So first we have Eren, and then it kind of seems like that we may have Mikasa, and she's sort of like in the corner holding her scarf. This is like very like prevalent throughout the OP, and then also kind of I guess the scarf isn't as much as in the end, but you guys will see what I mean. We have Armin, who is sleeping inside of one of the cells, and so that's kind of sus. I don't know, like, I feel like that there's something symbolic about all this. I feel like that it's possible. I mean, it's not possible, let's just say it. It is highly likely that Mikasa will die alone because of the curse. Like, Eren and Armin are going to die before her, so I wonder if that's what this is supposed to represent. Like, all Mikasa has is the scarf and she's alone, whereas Armin is sleeping because he will one day also die. Like, it could be that sort of thing, because they all have shortened lifespan now. Like, Mikasa will be old and die alone if she survives this season, right? That's not a very happy thought, but, you know, that's where we're at with that. Then we have one of the big Titans smashing on the city. So it does seem like there is like an indication that the rumbling is actually going to happen. We see more of the rumbling here, but what's interesting is that they all kind of have like smoke or steam coming off of them. And so I wonder what that's supposed to mean. Like, I wonder if they're not going to be like totally, I don't know, healthy. They were in the wall for a long time. I don't know if that's relevant or not. But what's interesting is though, we actually see that like instead of actually having the wall, the Titans are just like making up the wall on the horizon. And so that's kind of like interesting imagery, especially because you have Eren like walking along the wall later. And so we have this picture where it's just Zeke and Eren and like some biological bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? We have a little DNA thing. I didn't really get a lot from this other than it's to like sort of represent their connection as brothers. So we see Eren walking through over here, and the thing that's occurring to me is there are like 9 birds, and I don't know if Eren has like 9 friends. I feel like he does, right? Because like, okay, so Armin, Mikasa, Connie, oh god, the blonde guy, Jean, right? Jean. Jean, it's Jean. So like that's 4. And so I don't know, maybe the birds could be like all of his friends and the birds like fly away, kind of like symbolizing that, you know, they will leave him and abandon him because of his bad plans. Well, just looking at it, right? Like you see the birds and then it flashes to all of his friends like from like the Survey Corps, and it seems like that they're almost like on the other side of like a barbed wire type of thing, or like maybe like broken glass or something. So maybe it's like he wanted his friends to be free, but now they'll never be free, because it does pan over to Sasha's death in her grave, and then it also pans over to Reiner, Bertolt, Ymir, I guess fake Ymir. Now we have to make the differentiation, Historia, Annie, right? So I wonder if the birds are supposed to kind of represent like the people that have been like lost, or his friends. Right, we get an interesting scene over here actually, where we see, well, I don't know exactly who that's supposed to be because we can't see their face, but we have Falco, Gabby, the other 2 that were candidates that died, obviously Peck, Porco, and I wonder if it's supposed to be like they weren't so much unlike us type of thing. That's something interesting that Reiner actually says that I wanted to get to, is like, he's like, you know, we've suffered enough, you've suffered enough. So it's kind of like an acknowledgement of Eren's suffering, that he's doing all this because like he suffered at the hands of them, but now Eren is making them suffer, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's the cycle of revenge thing that we talked about last year. And so yeah, we see Eren walking along the wall, and I like this imagery just because like you kind of have like the darkness, right? Like the darkness inside of the wall, the darkness up here, and then you have the light, right? But I sort of wonder, like, is that really how things are? Like, you know what I mean? Like I think that he's seen the outside of the walls as freedom, but now the outside of the walls ain't looking so hot, you know what I mean? And so I'm sort of wondering if Eren kind of thinks that everything, like that there is no freedom anywhere, because there is that scene in the end song where it's like he's still this bird like trapped in a cage, you know? And so I don't know, I just wonder about Eren's like mindset. Like, does he think that there's actually you know, is there actually a way for peace, that sort of thing? So then we have the birds. Also, guys, I'm just doing this because it's the first episode with the new OP. This usually will not be part of things. Then we have someone here who I'm assuming is Levi. And again, Levi is not looking too good, but I can't tell exactly, so I don't know. I don't know if this is foreshadowing to like something happening to Mikasa, because their haircuts are kind of, you know, they're both, like their hair is both short now. Now I can't tell. And now we have, well, since we have Hanji, I'm assuming that that's Levi. Like, I'm just saying. But yeah, that scene, I was like, I'm not sure who it's supposed to be. Yeah, and so now we see baby Zeke again, and with his father figure, mentor, man, and then we see the Beast Titan, and so then we see Zeke, and I don't think I got a good photo of it, but you can actually see, at least like for a split second, like the steam coming up, and I think that it's kind of like sus. I don't know, I think that his like eyeglass is kind of sus. He's done that before though, but I feel like that the steam changed him. I feel like that's like Zeke's gonna go through something because of that steam, like directly because of it. We have Eren biting his hand here, and it seems like he's on top of the wall, like he's in the same area as before. Then we just have like him fighting like throughout the episode and stuff like that. But I wonder if that's supposed to represent like he will bite himself and then do the rumbling, and that's why he's walking along the walls. And we have Reiner in a very interesting area, because it seems like that he's just kind of like in rubble and in between 2 walls. And so I know, like, I don't think he's gonna end up inside of the wall, right? But it's interesting to see that he's in like this rubble area. And so I wonder if this is going to be how maybe all of them die. That would be kind of dark. Like, if my theory is right that he will kill all of them. So we have like, you know, Reiner dying in this fight in theory because he's like in the rubble right there. I'll show you guys again. Like, he's just kind of in this weird area and his eyes are closed, which would imply like some death, right? And then you also have, Peck, but she's not fighting. She seems to be like on a table or something, and there's like a pot of food as if she's been poisoned. And so I wonder if it's supposed to represent how they will all die in a way. Then you have Porco, who seems to be in some sort of prison of some sort, and then he has like the little wall right there, like the little brick wall and stuff. And there's somebody on the other side, but we can't tell who it is. At first I was like, is that supposed to be Sasha? But they didn't really have that much of a connection, so I'm not really sure who it's supposed to be exactly. So what's interesting is, while we see everyone else in sort of like precarious circumstances, I guess, we actually see Annie living. So like, you know, everybody else, I'm like, yeah, Reiner's not looking so good right there, you know? Like, Annie is actually coming out of the crystal, right? And it seems interesting, because I'm like, did she do this of her own free will? She kind of makes like one of those little cold breathy thingies, and I don't know, she doesn't have any particular look on her face. Like, she doesn't have a particular like confident look or confused look. I heard some people like say that she looked confused. I don't really get that at all. Like, maybe I just missed a frame, but she seems that maybe she did it of her own free will. I just want Annie to come back. I just want her to be like, oh, what's going on over here? And there was part of this episode that I actually think was kind of sus towards that, but we'll get there. It's kind of vague as to like where she is, just looking at the scene. Like, it's not explicitly during the Reiner fight like the Reiner part was, or the Porco part was, right? And so then we see, I think that this is supposed to be Bertolt, and then we see Bertolt's tears like go into Armin, and then Armin's wide awake, and we also see like some blood, and so it's like maybe like Bertolt died so Armin could live and get a second chance at life type of thing, right? Could represent something like that. Could also, like, they keep saying like, oh, Bertolt is, you know, impacting your memories and stuff, so maybe that's kind of true. What's interesting here is that we see like what is Armin, right? Like, but I don't know, there's some weird smoky thingies going on right there. And he does usually smoke, because like that's the whole thing about the big boy, the big boy Titan, is that he steams, right? But I don't know, I feel like that light is a little sus. We also, for some reason, see the Warhammer Titan again, and I feel like that it's also supposed to be because like these are the people that Eren has killed or will kill, right? Because then you see the crystal like actually being like kind of like put into Eren in like a kind of metaphorical way. Like, we have like some shiny sparkly stuff going on, and then we see like the blood on the flower, which is also in the end card. Then we see the girl again, so Ymir, and then we see all of, or I guess I'm assuming she's Ymir. She could be like, I don't know, she could be like Satan in disguise for all we know, but she's Ymir, I'm assuming. Satan in disguise as opposed to God. Like, Ymir is kind of like their god, right? So I'm assuming that it's like a legit Ymir. But yeah, it's interesting because she kind of bursts into all of these paths. So it's like she's connected to everything that was and is. And what's interesting is that like her thing right there like kind of looks like a tree, and then the kids are like running towards the tree later. But yeah, then you just see like there's some war, there's some guns. I feel like that's not very metaphorical at all. But what's interesting too is that we kind of see this Eren in, I don't know what you call it, like inverted color. And so I wonder if that's like gonna be a thing, like, you know, Ymir kind of like speaks to him or something, like something that's like shocking, right? What's interesting too is that they come back to this imagery a lot, and I believe that this is when Eren killed the people that were trying to like kidnap Mikasa, right? It's just like something that comes back a couple times in even the end song, I believe. And so it's funny because you see again the murder hand, right, of you know, him killing those guys, but then you also see a very happy Eren. So I wonder if that's supposed to tell the audience that Eren was always a little fucked up, like from the very beginning he was a little fucked up. You know what I mean? So that's sort of the vibe that I'm getting, is like, yeah, reminder that Eren was always violent, right? And that he was always willing to kill people. I don't know. That's sort of the vibe that I'm kind of getting. Then you see everybody on the wall together, but Mikasa is here again, and she's like putting the scarf over. And so I wonder if that's her kind of, I don't want to say resigning herself, but kind of resigning herself to the idea that, yeah, she does like love Eren and she will protect him. She doesn't know if it's her instinct or what, but she is going to protect him. The only thing is, though, is that like you don't see anybody's faces in this shot, so I wonder if it's again supposed to represent this sort of thing of Mikasa dying alone. Like, she has finally, like, everybody, this is how I imagine stuff, right? Everybody else is dead, right? Like, Eren's in his little shell thingy, Armin's dead, like everybody's dead, and Mikasa's like, well, I'm free now, but at what cost, right? She is looking at the sunset and the freedom that her friends got for her, but she's all alone, right? And so, yeah, we see all the kids running, and they're running towards a tree, right? And the tree kind of looks like Ymir's little, like from the OP earlier. So I wonder if that's what that's supposed to represent. And we see some very interesting photos right here of, like, in Eren's eye, he can see like the colossals and then this big like rib cage situation thingy. It almost looks like a boat, right? You kind of have like this angel thing and then like, you know, the, what do you call it? The pointy thing at the end of the boat. So it seems like, again, that's supposed to reference the rumbling somehow, which is very interesting. But yeah, I don't know, that rib cage thing kind of makes me think of my idea of him just like being frozen forever or something like that. But yeah, we see Eren screaming here, which again could indicate that he is going to make the rumbling go. But then at the end, we see, I don't know, like he's shirtless here, but then here, is that just the lighting or is he wearing clothes this time? And then he seems to have like a very different look on his face. Like his eyebrows are furrowed as if like, you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain his expression, as if he's like worried or like confused or like all of his energy has been like zapped out of him type of thing. Then we see like one of the big boys from inside of the wall, or maybe that's Armin actually. I can't tell the difference. I'm very sorry. But I wonder if like this stomp is going to be like, what if that's how Eren dies? Because like, what if that's like the whole thing is that's, I don't know, like it's kind of weird for them to put that there, but maybe like that would be fucked up if Armin just stomps on his friend. But yeah, like we see this broken like butterfly right here, and I'm like, is that supposed to represent Eren? And then we see this like these big footprints. So what if it's like Eren is killed by the very rumbling that he set off to like save his friends and stuff? Like it's not even as cool as my idea of him taking all the Titan powers. But what's interesting too is that this butterfly is like for a split second encased in that stone stuff, like, you know, the same thing that Annie's in. At least that's what it looks like to me. So I wonder if that is a reference to Eren's fate, right? That sort of like the butterfly encased in the glass. So for this scene, Peck looks like dazed for a bit, and then she like comes back to the fight. So I'm not sure what actually happened to her there, but like, you know, Gabby has to shake her, and that was a little bit strange. I do like that they've kind of kept the dark humor, right? Like, you know, Porco cuts her hand off and then she just stumbles over the wall. Like this episode was actually kind of funny. The same thing with the commander. Like the commander keeps going like, actually it's, wait, yeah, it's general to you. I guess he like, you know, he rose the ranks because he was the only one alive. I also thought I don't think this was supposed to be funny, but like Peck eating Gabby to bring her to safety, I thought that was a little funny. To think Marley would launch such a desperate attack, given what little they know, they shouldn't have taken that risk, right? So Eren knows that the only reason they did this is because, in his opinion, of Reiner's stupidity. And I love this scene with Yelena, because she gives a perfectly reasonable, like, concrete plan to run away, and he just looks at it, and he just walks right by, almost like stepping on. I mean, he wasn't that close to stepping on them. They were under, like, the little enclave thingy, but it was funny. He was like, nah, because I feel like that this is the thing, right? Is that this whole show, in my opinion, is about like cycles of revenge, right? And so it's not really about doing the smartest thing, unless Eren just has this galaxy brain plan that I'm not aware of, because he has been smart, right? Like this season, I have kind of compared him to like a Lelouch type character, and you guys can see how much I love Lelouch, right? But I don't know if Eren is actually that smart as Lelouch, right? And I say that with the utmost respect. I say that because that's not the point. Like, I feel like the whole thing with Eren is that he wants revenge. That's what this is. It's cycles of revenge, right? So he's just like, yeah, I want to go beat up Reiner, and that like kind of takes over all reason. And I could be wrong. Like he could have, you know, again, a giga brain plan to go into this right now, but I feel like that this is legitimately the reason. He says, only you could have convinced Marley to do something this stupid. Like he just wants to go out there to fuck up Reiner, right? That's what this is kind of about. He can't help himself but to go fuck up Reiner. In my opinion, that is the vibe that I'm getting. Now, something weird happens right here. I don't know if you guys would agree, but when they're like fighting each other, there's like a bunch of like lightning shit going on over here. And at first I was like, is that them? Is that supposed to be them? But I think that maybe that's Annie. And I know that that's kind of random, but does that lightning, I thought that that lightning only happens when they transform, right? Like when somebody transforms, and everybody else is transformed already, right? So wouldn't it make sense that that's Annie? She's like popping out of the underground, and that's why the rubble was coming from underneath. Like maybe that lightning is just the effect of them fighting each other, but doesn't it kind of look like there's like, you know, something transforming from over there, like from in the ground. It doesn't seem like that's where they're fighting. I could be wrong, but that's sort of the theory that I have, because it seems like it's coming from under the ground. And so maybe Annie's like, get a load of this. And maybe she's not even transformed yet, but maybe that lightning needs to happen to get her out of like the encasing thingy. Right? And so maybe next episode it'll be like, Annie, oh my god, you're out and about. Like, you know, maybe like when all hope seems lost, I guess, when all hope seems lost for Reiner, Annie will like pop out like a daisy out of the ground, right? Or, see, Annie's the wild card though, because I don't know if she would fight for Reiner anymore, to be honest. Like, I kind of thought that, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if like after everything that Armin like told Annie while she was sleeping, Annie was like, you know what? Eren's plan actually kind of sounds better. Like, I wonder if she could like turncoat or something. This scene was really cute. I really liked how, like, the commander, like, he, like, you know, took the time to, like, hug her, and yeah, like, he, you know, sort of yelled at her after, but it was, like, a yelling out of concern. Like, you can tell that he actually cares about her, and Falco, right? And I think that, like, in the past, he probably didn't really care about the other candidates, but, like, I feel like he's, like, built sort of a special, like, bond with them, you know? I don't know, it's just different, right? And I don't think he was like that before, but I think that they softened his heart a little bit. And so, yeah, then they find out that Falco has the spinal fluid, and so you see Colt being like, seriously? I don't know if that seriously is grave enough for the situation that they're in, but I kind of read that as, like, you know, like, the fuck do you mean? Like, something like that, a bit more like that, you know? And so, yeah, I think that what's interesting about this is I sort of have this theory that Falco is going to inherit the powers from Reiner, I guess, instead of Colt, because I think, well, Colt was supposed to inherit them from Zeke, but that's definitely not happening anymore. I think that Falco was always on the table to get the powers from Reiner, so anyway, all of that being said, I feel like that the only person that's kind of close to dying right now would be Reiner, so maybe that's how they'll save Falco, but they have to save Falco somehow. I mean, the saving, like, the solution is for Zeke to not scream, but there's no guarantee that he won't do that, right? And so that's the only thing that I'm thinking of, is that if he has the spinal fluid and turns into a pure blood titan, he can then eat somebody, right? Like, he can eat a titan shifter and get their powers. And so it seems like that Reiner is the best bet for that. It would be funny if Zeke's power somehow went to Falco, but I don't think that would be good because the whole royal blood thing, like, still exists. You know what I mean? But it would be interesting because Falco and Eren have this weird, like, connection thing going on. You know what I mean? And so it would kind of be interesting to see, like, Falco navigate having Zeke's power, but I don't think that, like, if Falco's not of royal blood, like, that wouldn't be as effective as Zeke currently is right now. But yeah, Reiner's fears are what brought us here. Can the enemy use the founding titan? And so this is where Gabby, you know, going behind enemy lines is actually a good thing, because she remembers something that Zeke had said in the airship ride. And so I think that that was really interesting. Like, hey, it may just be true. And you can actually, I don't think that you can fully see his reaction, but do you remember, like, there was this conversation with Colt at the beginning of season 4 where Zeke was like, oh, one day you'll learn all my secrets, right? And so now he's probably like, uh-oh. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that's funny to think about. He's probably like, oh shit, Zeke wasn't kidding, right? Like, I think that Colt probably realizes that. That's his name, right? It is Colt. Anyway, doesn't matter. I think what's interesting is it's like, I love, first of all, I love how he keeps correcting it to general. It's nice to see that the sense of humor is still going, but then also, I love, like, the Marley's shield isn't easily broken. We're not here to kill the founder. We're here to capture the founding titan, right? And so I feel like that that's, like, good to address their motivation, because, like, I feel like that people kind of have misplaced logic, where they're like, well, logically, they would just kill Eren and the show would be done. Like, as if Eren has some plot armor, but there is actual reasoning to why they don't want to do that, because it would just go to some random kid, you know what I mean? All of the powers would. And now, like, Eren has, like, you know, he has power supply, like, you know, he has multiple powers at this point, and so having, like, eating him, it makes a lot more sense, right? And so, well, a lot more sense in the sense that that's what they want, right? And so I feel like that a lot of people are like, well, you know, why don't they just kill him, right? But that's why. It's because it would go to a random person, and then who knows what would happen after that. They want to make sure that they secure it versus just killing Eren. This fight was cool too. I loved, like, Eren punching Reiner in the face, but I loved Reiner, like, I don't know what you call it, but he duked him, and then he grabbed him and, like, tried to, like, run up and, like, ram him, and then Eren kicked him, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that Annie taught him the foot combat in earlier seasons, question mark. I may not remember correctly, but interesting if true. That's basically what I'm thinking. I'll make you pay for trampling all over my home. See, what's interesting about Porco saying that is that's very similar to things that Eren has said in the past. And I feel like that is fully intentional because they want to draw the parallel of the cycle of revenge. Eren wanted to make them pay for trampling his home, and now Porco wants to make Eren pay for trampling Marley. Like, it's just a whole thing, right? The cycles of revenge. Eren, all on your own, you're not a big threat. I mean, that's, you know, big talk for somebody who has their eyeball hanging out, but, you know, that's who Reiner is. Just give it up. This is the end for you. What's interesting is that Eren has some, like, weird, like, eye flashy things going on, and I don't know. I mean, he always kind of did that, but I don't know if that's also, like, something more mystical and Ymir related, like now that we've seen that Zeke has some sort of Ymir connection, right? I mean, he's kind of always done that, though. It seemed like his eye kind of helped with activating the little spiky spikes that he has going on, so it could have just been that as well. Also, the scouts are getting bodied. There are so many dead scouts in this episode. I just saw them in my screenshots. What's interesting is Yelena says, Eren, you're not like other people. Like, she looks in this screenshot as if she's seeing something the rest of us can't see. And I'm like, what do you see, sis? Because I don't see a lot. You know what I mean? I don't see what she sees. I wonder what she sees in Eren, because she's like, Eren, you're different. You're special. And I don't know if she's saying that like, please, Eren, don't die. You're special. Or if she's saying, oh, that's why Eren still went to fight. I don't know if it's a realization or like a plea. And I couldn't really tell by the tone. So you guys can let me know. But yeah, Eren's just getting his brains blasted by, again, the anti-Titan gear thingy. I'll just show you guys the picture if you guys want to see. But yeah, we've heard about all of this before, that the anti-Titan stuff is growing strong. And it's not even the anti-Titan stuff. It's like the scouts are getting bodied because these people have guns. Like, that is basically, it's not looking very good. Eren, you're not like other people. See, she says that as if she sees something we don't see, or maybe it is a pleading, right? Maybe she's like, Eren, you can't die. You're not like other people. But she says you're special. So it's like, does she see something? You know, I don't know. Does she see that maybe that he's not getting tired? Because it says that the Warhammer is powerful, but its power exhausts quickly. I think that that's actually Peck talking, right? Or maybe it's the commander. And so I wonder if it's like, does Yelena see that that doesn't affect him? Maybe because he has multiple powers. Yeah, so we see the scouts getting bodied, which is kind of ironic considering it's like a new hero to save the world, but it's like, are you guys really the heroes though, right? With all this bloodshed, are you really? I mean, that's the commander's perspective, right? But yeah, Eren is like getting bodied right now, and I don't know if he like jumped out of his Titan meat sack. Like, okay, I have a galaxy brain idea, but I don't think it's true. The thing is that his Titan body is still screaming, which means I don't think that he jumped out, because then it would just like, burr, 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 like it wouldn't like move and scream anymore. But what if because he's the founding Titan and he can control Titans, he can like control his meat sack from a distance? And so what if he already like broke out and escaped, and that's why like he's just letting Reiner like body him right now because he's already gone, and Reiner is fighting with basically the puppet Eren meat sack. I don't know if that makes any sense though. Like, I don't know if that lines up with anything that we have ever heard about, but that was something I was thinking during the episode. I was like, oh, like, what if Eren jumped out and escaped already? And that's why he's just letting himself get beat up. He's not having that much of a reaction, but he was still screaming, which is weird if he's not in there. And so either he's in there and he has a plan, or maybe he knows his friends will come save him. I don't know, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe he is just letting him get himself beat up anyway. Whatever. You guys understand what I mean, right? Like, maybe, but maybe there's something else going on. I don't know. And so then, obviously, I cannot pronounce this man's name. I'm so sorry. But he comes through and he's like shaking as he tries to like let them out of the jail, and he's trying to explain to them what's going on. We have to protect Eren. And I was sort of thinking, I'm like, damn, after all he did, right? Like, they must be so pissed. And they are pissed. I mean, we see that Connie is pretty pissed about this because they're in a precarious position. It's like, after all of the stuff Eren said, we're really gonna protect him, right? I feel like that Connie's outburst here was just very like emotional really resonating. And I think a lot of people will probably feel this way, like that sort of connection, because Connie's just a dude, right? He's just a dude that wanted to defend his home. Like, he's not an Archerman, he's not a Titan shifter, he's just a dude that wanted to, like, defend his home and, like, you know, like, free them all before they even knew that there were other countries and stuff going on like that, right? And so I feel like that, like, it comes very real, like, from Connie, because he's just, like, sick of all of the stuff that this, like, war entails, right? Like, it was one thing when there were just Titans, right? But Titans weren't plotting against them. They just existed kind of in nature towards them, as far as they had known. But now, like, there's all this plotting and all this conspiracy, and they got betrayed by Reiner, by Bertolt, by Annie, and now by Eren, right? And so it's just the toll that war has taken on his trust of other people, I think, because before, in previous seasons, you could argue to an extent that this wasn't the case and they just didn't know, but, like, to a degree, from their perspective, there was humanity, like the last remnants of humanity against Titans, and Titans had no plotting or betrayal abilities. And then suddenly all these people come in and they seem to have a vested interest in destroying, like, Paradise, right? And so that's where things get really, like, fucky, I guess, because there were corrupt people in Paradise, right? We see that in previous seasons. But it's just different. It's a different threat to have actual people infiltrate the squad and pretend to be your friend, compared to, like, the pure blood Titans that don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're basically the same as, like, animals. Like, they're just bloodthirsty. They have no consciousness. Like, in terms of, like, how do I explain this? Like, in terms of, like, their intelligence, I guess. Like, pure blood Titans are not, like, plotting. They don't plot to kill people, and you know what I mean? And so I just feel like that it's different. And now, like, with all of the stuff that, like, the war the war TM entails, it's just taken a toll on Connie. I guess here's the best way to explain it. In previous seasons, there was a very straightforward threat for humanity to unite against, but things got more complicated over time, to the point where you had people, like, infiltrating, like, the army and seemingly going against, like, that will, even though we know that Reiner and Annie and Bertolt's motivations are a lot more complicated now. That is sort of, like, what I'm getting at. It was like all of humanity was against one enemy, and now humanity is enemies with each other. And I think that that's what's fucking with Connie in a way. And so then he says, I don't want, you know, we didn't know. I didn't want to, like, participate in that. I don't want to euthanize the Eldians, right? And so I think that this is interesting, because I don't know if I believe him, but I want to, because I really like him. So I'm hoping that that's the case. And to be honest, I don't think that Eren does either. And so that's what I was sort of, you know, getting at, that I talked about earlier, that we'll talk about a little bit. I do like this idea that the kids are the future. I think that's very symbolic, and I really like it when shows kind of do that, because, I mean, that's just true of real life as well. Kids, the next generation to try to make the world better, that is just true. But I like that in, like, apocalyptic stories, I guess, is that, like, even though we fucked up, our children, like, the next generation will do better than we did, right? I kind of like that. You know, it's a very hopeful message, right? And so, see, he's trying to, like, make them believe them. And so Armin says that he does. You once said this, we exist because we're wanted. And so that's, I think, his, like, religion, I think, right? Like, his idea is that God put people on the earth for a reason, that sort of thing. You've basically shown that your views go against Zeke. And I think that's interesting, because Armin, logical, right? And so it tracks, right? But people are hypocritical all the time. Like, people say one thing and then do another all the time. So I think that I do believe him, but, like, it could be a little, like, there's shaky ground to stand on. And I feel like that even with Armin, I can't tell if he genuinely believes that Eren doesn't want the plan to happen, or if he's just trying to convince everyone else of that so he can talk to Eren and he can stop Eren from doing that. Does that make sense? Because those are two different things. Either Eren never wanted to do the euthanization plan, or Eren does, but Armin thinks he can talk him off a ledge, and so Armin's just trying to bullshit them and buy time. It would be interesting if Armin is also kind of manipulating everyone, and he kind of turns into somebody he didn't want to be, right? And we do see, again, we see Mikasa back here looking all sad because she's, you know, she's thinking about this. What do you think? Do you want to help Eren? And so it's in her head too. She said, I want to, but it's probably because I'm an Archerman. It isn't my own will. And she's looking at the scarf. And I feel like she's thinking, is it because I love Eren because he saved me? Or is it because of something that I can't control, something programmed within me? I think Eren lied and made that up, right? And so that's interesting because this is what I mean by Armin manipulating people. I'm like, does he truly believe that that's not true? Or is he just trying to say that to get Mikasa on his side because he needs to protect Eren in order to talk to him? You know what I mean? Like, is he doing it for his own plan? And so I think it's interesting, but like, Eren didn't totally make it up. I think Eren said it to hurt them on purpose. I definitely think that. But like, with all of her headache thing, I don't think that it's entirely untrue either. I think it's like somewhere in the middle where like Eren exaggerated it to hurt her feelings. But, you know, it just seems like Armin's like grasping at straws, right? Like he's like, I need to convince everyone to go save him so I can talk to him. It's almost a selfish motivation, so I can talk to him, right? It's not selfish, but you know what I mean? It's a personal motivation as opposed to maybe a greater good motivation. And so he's like, you honestly think Eren wants to stop Eldians from having children. And so I don't know what the fallacy is for this, but this is kind of like almost an appeal to emotion, right? Because he's like, it's Eren we're talking about. And I don't know if he's doing that unintentionally or intentionally. He could just be saying this because he's obviously biased. They've been friends forever. It could be genuine emotion and genuine like feeling that maybe Armin isn't being manipulative. But at the same time, I'm sort of I don't know, I'm just on the fence, and I wonder if Armin doesn't actually believe this, but he just kind of pulled this out of his ass because he needs to convince everyone so he can talk Eren out of the plan, right? Like maybe Armin is also on the fence himself, but he's weighed the options and he's like, well, if I can't talk to Eren, I will never know whether or not he was on board with the plan or not. So we do have to go save him, if only so I can talk to him and find out the truth. Right? So maybe Armin's like 50-50. He doesn't actually know, but he's making this argument to everyone so they can go rescue him. And so that's where I'm like, is Armin getting a little manipulative? Or is he just genuine, right? Is he fully, wholly, pure-heartedly genuine? Because he has always kind of been that more pure-hearted character, right? And his idea makes sense, right? Because I kind of think that too. Like, I think Eren has this third plan, right? And so I'm not saying that Armin is like totally wrong because I actually agree with this, but Armin doesn't know that for sure. So I'm almost only talking about this from Armin's perspective. Like, yes, Eren could have a third plan, but none of them really know that. He's just trying to make a really good argument for Eren having another plan so they can go rescue him. At least that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So yeah, I don't know. But I do think that Armin's on the right track. I think that Eren does have another plan. I totally agree. But yeah. They do seem to decide to go save him at the end. And so there's just, the soldiers are dead, Yelena is looking, Eren is screaming, and that's the end of the episode, bitch. That's all that we got. So I am gonna analyze like the end song a little bit, but we see Eren with Mikasa's scarf, which I think is interesting because again, we have this imagery of him holding the knife. And so it does seem to be implying that ever since that day, like something changed in Eren. At least that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And we also see this blood drop on the flower again, which was in the OP. So I'm not entirely sure what this means yet, but I feel like that it means something. I don't know. But what's interesting is maybe if we count the flowers, we can find something. How many Titan powers are there? There's 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, well, let's just say that there's 8. Maybe there's 8. I don't know. I forgot. I'm sorry. But yeah, I wonder if it's like, what is the metaphor, guys? Let us find it. Let us find the metaphor. So what's interesting is Mikasa's scarf like blows away and turns into a bird. And I wonder if the bird is supposed to represent Eren or like his childhood innocence or like his hopes and dreams. It's kind of unclear like what it's supposed to mean exactly, but you see the bird and it like breaks because it's still in a cage. And so maybe that's like Eren's realization that like they're still in a cage after all of this time. But then the cage disappears and there are no walls anymore and he's in this field. And so it's interesting because I'm not sure what it all means. Exactly. Like, I'm not sure what it all exactly means. But we see, like, a younger Eren, and actually, I'm kind of, like, on the fence about whether or not this is younger Eren, because his eyes seem like they're a different color. They seem almost gray, and so I'm like, I know this is so random, but I'm like, is this somebody's child? Like, you know what I mean? Is this like Mikasa and Eren's child or something? Like, you know, and it's supposed to just really look like Eren? Because that does happen, like, you know, in anime a lot. Like, the parents and the children look like carbon copies of each other. I don't know. Maybe Eren's eyes were only, like greenish because of Titan stuff, and usually they're gray, and I just forgot. But yeah, you see like what is supposed to be Paradise, I'm assuming, and it's all like covered in moss and abandoned. Like the throne is abandoned, the city, like the statue is like covered in moss and stuff. And so that's why I'm sort of like, like I'm sort of wondering like what Eren's true motivation is, because like why does he see this as like the freedom and the happy place where Paradise is destroyed? But maybe it's because they can finally get off the island and they don't need to just live here and they can explore the world. Like maybe that's the thing, is that he one day hopes that Paradise will be like overgrown and covered in moss because that is the destruction of the cage. Like maybe he does want Paradise to go away and then they can build a new home somewhere else. That could be the thing. Now, what's interesting right here is that, and you can actually, oh wow, you can see that so much better on my second monitor compared to the first one. So you have Eren, and then you have an outline of someone. And that could also be Eren, I guess, but like, I don't know. Is it? Right? Is it somebody else? Is it the girl? Right? Like, is it, you know, is it Ymir? Is it himself as a big titan? And it's supposed to represent like how he will destroy himself. And we have this like blue and purple flame that like wisps through, and then he like disappears. And so that's sort of interesting too, like he fades away. And so I feel like that could be like Eren death foreshadowing, kind of in the way I talked about, right? And so it's almost like he sees Ymir and then he fucks off, he disappears. And so yeah, I don't know what all that means, but it's him disappearing for me in sort of like the flame. And so I wonder if it's supposed to be metaphorical, like his own revenge, but it also kind of looks like a hand. If you actually like zoom in and look at it, I know that could be me like exaggerating, but like that looks like a finger. That could be something. I don't know. Maybe it's also supposed to represent the blue like encasing ice thingy, right? So maybe it's not flame. Maybe I'm right about him locking himself in the ice. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, maybe it doesn't, but don't you guys think that those kind of look like hands a little bit? Like somebody's grabbing him? Actually, it also looks like right here, maybe this is just me and this is not anything, but like if you look closely at this looks like an eyeball, right? And then this looks like hair, and it's almost like fragments or like shattered memories or something. Like, who knows? I'm just saying, I'm just speculating. That's kind of interesting that I kind of saw a face in there. Maybe the face isn't supposed to be, but yeah, he just disappears into mist, which isn't giving me good vibes. So I don't know what to make of that quite yet, but that is it for this week, everyone. So thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't worry, I won't be doing the intro and the outro again. This, you know, this was probably 30 minutes of the episode, and then like, you know, like all the rest of it was about these ones, but these do tend to get over an hour long. So if you would like to support these, support the editors, as always, you can check out the Patreon for, again, the full watch along reaction, and then also just to give us some support if you like these videos. But with that being said, thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court. I will see you guys next week. Bye.